Welcome to the program, everyone, and welcome back to Oblivion. As always, listen, y'all. This week, we're taking a departure from our normal activities here. We're going to just kind of talk about all things Halloween, man. We're just going to have a Halloween fest. We've got our Hellraiser II episode. I don't think that's been revealed at this point, but obviously that's where we started this program. I think maybe we're going to do a thing where we revisit on every anniversary the next installment in the Hellraiser franchise until we run out of them anyway. But we've got that one all geared up for release on Halloween for you guys. But today we're just going to lay back a little bit and we're going to talk about all things Halloween. We're just going to crack open we got some Bloody Marys to be on theme, and we're just gonna hang out and talk about anything and everything involving Halloween. What do you say, y'all?
Shit, yeah.
All right, let's fucking do it. I'm Dusty Lane.
I'm Jason Mitchell.
And we are the Cinebytes.
Hello.
I came for you. We have such sights to show you.
It was an excellent day for an exorcism.
I said, I'm not gonna hurt you. I'm just gonna bash your brains in.
I want to play a game.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was. This is God.
We all go a little mad sometimes. Haven't you?
But sometimes that is better.
All right, y'all, we're back in business, everybody. We are talking this week, once again, we're just going to have a kickback episode talking about Halloween, not the movie.
Right.
Directed by Satan. Studio is, we're going worldwide international on this one.
Essentially what's going on is our 1 year release is coming up on Thursday.
Yes, happy birthday, dear Cinebytes.
Happy birthday, homie. Essentially, we just didn't want to release a full episode on Tuesday and wanted to hit our 1 year. So we're going to do this little filler episode, talking about some Halloween-y stuff.
Yeah, we released a couple of episodes prior to Hellraiser, but it was just like a teaser and an introductions episode. Our first full cinematic review release was on Hellraiser on Halloween.
Right.
So we wanted to keep that going. We're going to release Hellraiser 2 on Halloween to keep that sort of anniversary going, even though technically we were going slightly before that, whatever. Right. But no, we still wanted to have an episode for you on Tuesday. So what we're going to do is just kick back and talk about all things Halloween and what we love about it and why it's been my favorite holiday for 36, almost 37 fucking years. And will continue until I die. Yeah, I don't give a fuck. Listen, dude, I love Halloween so much. I think we mentioned in our House of a Thousand Corpses episode, there's a part where I think it's Mary, and she was like, oh no, we're just a little too old for Halloween. You know what? Fuck right off with all that.
Right, yeah, fuck you, Mary.
Not a single person in this world is going to convince me that I'm too old for Halloween ever until I die.
The simple pleasures of Halloween.
And yeah, man, they are simple. Like, does it say something about me that I feel most alive when the things around me start to die?
Right. Dude, I'm telling you, we all need to listen to Mother Firefly, you know? Yeah. She wants us to all engage into all of this and just be a kid again, kind of, you know? And if you really step back and look at it, with Halloween and all the horror, maybe the horror is pretty adult, you know?
Sometimes, sure.
But it's just bringing us back to being children again. You know, you just want to go out in a costume.
It's more escapism from your daily life. You know, every single Halloween, everyone chooses a costume, and no matter what it is, it's all about just being goofy for a day, letting your freak flag fly a little bit.
Oh yeah.
And I could not support that anymore.
I think, you know, as this podcast grows and we continue to grow, you know, at some point we will have some kind of Halloween party, and you know, maybe we can record and bring people in.
Oh, dude, absolutely. Shit, you know? Let's make an annual fucking Cinebytes Halloween party. Are you
saying.
Kidding me?
Yeah, I wanna be Captain Spaulding for Halloween and Tutti fucking Fruity.
Ain't we fucking funny? But yeah, man. So I actually filled out. We have a little notes template that for our initial few episodes, anyway, we clung on to pretty strictly as our template for this is what we're going to talk about during this episode. So I filled out one of those notes template for this episode just to be silly, and I've got the title is Halloween. No, we're not talking about the movie directed by Satan, as I mentioned. MPAA rating of E for everyone, man. Like I said,
Jesus.
ain't nobody too good for Halloween. A runtime of forever, as far as I'm concerned.
Shit, yeah.
Release year, I guess it'd be 0 AD, sometime around where Satan was booted out of heaven, right?
I think my big thing with Halloween is as we start to get older, a lot of people just fall out.
Yeah.
You know, like, oh, well, I don't want to go trick-or-treating anymore and whatever. And one thing that stands out to me is I remember that distinctly.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hey, maybe I'm getting too old. And it's not that you get too old for Halloween in general, but yeah, maybe you do get a little too old to go door to door to get your candy.
I don't know, dude. I'm gonna be on the other side of that argument because my daughter Hannah, I've talked about her a few times on the podcast. She is now 15 years old. We went trick-or-treating last year. I'm gonna cling on to that shit for as long as I can. And afterwards, I don't know if it might be concerning to someone, but like I'm thinking about just going out trick-or-treating on my own, and not necessarily trick-or-treating going up to the house and knocking on the door and asking for candy. I just want to walk around in costume for the night, and I want to see all the fucking everyone else's costumes passing by me. I want to see all the fucking cool home haunts people have set up and the decorations that they have. I just enjoy being in that fucking world for the night.
See,
you know what I mean?
That's what I'm getting
That's
at.
always been a special feeling to me. Every single Halloween, when I go out, and I usually have a pretty badass costume, if you ask me. I always have something that someone is going to react to.
Right.
I've had like a studio quality Jason costume.
Oh, shit.
I've had a studio quality Sam costume. I've had more DIY ones where I just wear a fucking I worked in a rail yard for 5 years, right? And I had this set of coveralls that I wore every day, like in the winter, like when it was all hot, when it was all cold outside. I fucking had those on and I'm fucking doing my work. But because I worked in a rail yard, they're covered in fucking rust and grease and all kinds of nasty shit.
It's a good Michael Myers.
They looked nasty as fuck and they were great. And eventually something happened to them where I had to cut the legs off. And basically I made a coat out of it now. So I had this super cool fucking coat that was just like nasty and fucking stuffing coming out of it. And it looked so fucking cool. And I had like work gloves on and shit and boots. And that was one of the first times that I decided that I was going to put a pumpkin on my head. And that was going to be my mask.
Yeah, hell yeah.
And I've done that a few times. I had this really cool design where it was like a jack-o'-lantern on one side, but this crazy like almost comedy and tragedy clown mask thing going on the other side. And I fucking drove a bunch of nails and screws and bolts and shit into the outside of it all over the place. So it was like sticking out kind of like Hellraiser. And oh my God, I scared so many kids. That's one of my favorite pastimes. Does that make me fucked up that I enjoy scaring kids on Halloween?
Hell no. That's the fucking point, man. One of the big things that stood out for me as a kid in Halloween was living and growing up most of my life in Swanton, Ohio. We had this road down the edge of town.
You're talking about Holcomb Road?
No. Okay.
Oh, was it Geyser?
No, not even.
Neither
close.
of those.
Neither.
Damn. All right.
We had this family, the Nijakowskis, that always put up this insane fucking Halloween.
I've seen that name before. I always said Ninja Kawasaki.
Okay. No, they've been around here for a long time, man. They're a big like Harley Davidson family, whatever, but they're into Halloween. And if you went down this particular road in our town that I grew up in, they went all out. They had a fucking full-size coffin outside with somebody in it. Mm-hmm. There was a bunch of shit hung up. Like I said, so you would come in the one side. It was like a haunted house, but it was on the road, like on the side of the road. The big thing that stuck out to me, though, was my buddy Rick. He's a really great guy. He was just really into it, and he would be on a bungee cord up in the top of the tree.
Oh, shit.
And you would go through this whole haunted house, right? You know, probably 5-10 minutes, whatever. It was small in front of their house, but you would come out the end, and there would be a bowl for candy out on the end in front of this fucking tree, and you would go up to it, and he would bounce out of this tree. He was up there waiting for you.
Yeah.
So as soon as you went in and put your hand in, just like I think he would dress up like vampire style.
Yeah.
But he'd pop out and just down like 10, 15 foot. Bow! Scare the hell out of everybody, man. You know, I don't
Hell
have
yeah.
a whole lot, but I remember that very, very
I do
vividly.
remember a couple of years we did like the home hunt thing, and it was very simple. You know, like my brother, who is 15 years older than me, would always dress up in his Michael Myers costume, and he's a big dude, so he really sold it every year. And I remember whatever it was I was dressed up in that moment or whatever, down in a couple of kids that were, you know, my age or older than me, and I just feel such pride and being able to fucking drop them to their knees for that moment.
Right.
You know,
Oh,
I
yeah.
just need, it was so good.
Yeah, it's been a long time since I've been into any haunted houses or anything, man. I remember haunted hydro was a really big thing around here, and I know people around the country aren't gonna know this, but
Right.
an old hydroelectric place, right?
Mhm.
Converted into, you know, I don't know if they went out of business or what, but a haunted place bought this, and haunted hydro has been a thing around here for 20 years at least.
Haunted hydro is huge around Northwest Ohio.
Right,
For sure.
and I bet you, like I said, I haven't really checked. I guarantee it's still going.
Oh yeah, I saw an ad for it this year. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think I've been to it in 15 years.
I
but
haven't
back
either,
then
actually.
It
Yeah,
was
it's been-
terrifying. It was so fucking scary. They were so good.
Been quite a while for me, absolutely. So, going back to my conceit of this being a movie we're covering for this episode. So our setting is fucking Earth, everybody. And our plot is fucking fun, dude. Halloween is, like I said, rated E for everybody. This holiday is by far the most fun in my opinion, and I feel like that's almost objective. Like, you have to have fun on Halloween. You can't escape it. Everyone's going to be in costume, and they're going to be acting silly because they don't have to be themselves.
Right.
You know?
Name another holiday where the cops can show up for a dead body hanging from the tree in the front yard. And, you
Right.
know?
And everything end up okay.
Right.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Let's go through our cast list a little bit for this one. Costumes in general around Halloween. What do we see? We got ghosts, we got witches, we got goblins, we got skeletons, we got jack-o'-lanterns, we got Marvel characters, we got...
Probably more predominantly now.
Yeah, we got
How many Iron
slashers.
Mans do we have out there? How many Spider-Mans do
Sure,
we have? You
yeah.
know?
We've got slashers all over the place. We've got sexy versions of normal things, which is a costume. These days, you can just be a sexy version of something.
I think it's awesome that most of the costumes that we have are definitely going to be Marvel. You know, we're going to have Joker, we're going to have Harley Quinn.
Yeah.
But half of everything else is like Jason, Michael,
Yeah.
Freddy.
Classics
You
never
know,
die, dude.
you're right.
We've been for, 40 years now. We've been seeing the same thing, super popular, and that just goes to that's a testament of the strength of slashers in general.
I would love to see a new Ghost. Just like, when's the last time you saw somebody just wearing a sheet?
Oh, me 2
You know-
years
you know-
ago
you
at
know,
work.
You know, like Charlie Brown style.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
Couple eye
Just your
holes
classic
cut. You know, we
sheet
just
fucking-
we don't see that anymore.
Yeah, Ghost Bob.
Right.
In Halloween.
Right, yeah.
Dude, I've always wanted to do that costume. It'd be so good.
We just don't see it anymore. I'm excited to see some. I guarantee there's going to be some arts this year.
Oh, absolutely.
all over the place.
1,000%. You're going to see 100 arts when you go out for trick-or-treating this year.
I think that might be the new one. Michael was always a very, very big one. There's
Oh, yeah.
Michael Myers everywhere, especially Jason too. The hockey mask is so easy.
So I mentioned my studio quality Jason costume. So what that consists of basically is a pair of jeans that I painted to look like the ones in part 4, I believe it was. And I got the green shirt with the bloodstains on it. I got the work gloves. Actually, you have your keys set on my Jason costume
I've
work
seen 'em.
gloves right now. And I got a hood for my head, but I want to order a new one. I actually found ones that are much better than the one I got. So I have like just a latex rubber, hood that I pull over my head, and then I put the mask over that.
Oh, that's legit, dude. I didn't go that far.
Right.
Yeah, you got the whole head, hood, sleeve
Sure.
where it goes over your head, and then the mask goes over your face. It's open.
Right.
kind of.
Right. So I put a little bit of makeup on my face where it's not covered.
Right.
And everything comes around like from, an inch or so above my eyebrows to just around, like just above my chin.
Right. That's legit, man.
So it's great, but the only problem is too high up the back of my head, there's a slit where you can just see my neck hanging out, and it's not great. So I found other ones that are like a silicone version of that, and there are different painting, like different skin tones you can order as well. So the one that I want to order is not in stock right now, but this thing looks legit. It covers your whole head. It's got the deformities of Jason and all that shit. I was gonna say,
you're super legit, dude. You got the hood. So I've only heard people talk about the hood,
Yeah.
People talking about, because Jason's head is a deformity and shit, so if you want to be screen accurate, just throwing that cheap ass $15 hockey mask ain't enough, and everybody gets that hood, and I'm like, I can't imagine putting that on, dude.
Would you feel claustrophobic with it?
Just over your head and grip to your head?
Yeah.
'Cause me and you both got big heads, brother.
Right.
But
are you saying you'd feel claustrophobic in it?
I'm not a big fan of the mask stuff. Like, I have masks. I leave them on display, but put one on.
Honestly?
If it fits good.
Here's the thing, dude. I do not... Historically, I don't like masks.
No, fuck no.
You can't fucking breathe in them. You can barely see in them.
I guess a hood makes more sense because at least when you put the hood over your head, your face is still open.
Your face is uncovered. And
Right.
that's why I like, as far as masks are concerned, the Jason mask is the way to fucking go, because you can breathe in that son of a bitch, and you can see everything is perfect in the hockey mask.
Right.
So that's why I want to get that silicone hood so that I can complete my extra sweet Jason costume.
I'm not cool
and kind of
with
do it more regularly.
The full head Halloween mask that grips to your head.
Mm-hmm.
There's
but it's
a
still
lot
not
of
covering
different-
your face is
right.
the thing.
There's a lot of different masks made by multiple companies.
Mm-hmm.
But if it's a good mask, it kind of grips to your head when you pull it on all the way.
Yeah.
That's what I don't like, is when it fits good,
You
you can't fucking get it off. Once it
Do you feel like you're stuck in the Goosebumps story, the haunted mask?
Right.
Are you Carly?
Once it grips over your chin and grips to your head,
Mm-hmm.
you can't fucking get it off, and it freaks me out.
Right. I get it. I totally get it. So, yeah, continuing through this cast list, we got the Marvel characters, the sexy versions of normal things, the slashers, zombies, vampires, werewolves, clowns, cowboys, angels, demons, cartoon characters. And one of my favorite things you see every year that people try to do are just the weird puns as costumes. Like you staple a fucking box of Cinnamon Toast Crunch to your chest and you hold a knife. Ooh, now I'm a serial killer.
I mean, that's been done for fucking ever.
I know. I know. And I think
I'm a
it's
serial killer.
finally reached retirement. Sometimes you do see clever ones, though.
See, I mean, I would be more impressed with like a blonde hair dye job and some goofy glasses. Maybe a wife beater. You could be Ed Gein, or not Ed Gein. I'm sorry. Who am I thinking of?
A serial killer with a wife beater? Dahmer? Bundy?
Dahmer with he's got the blonde hair, kind of, but he's walking in, he's got the orange jumpsuit on because he's a wife beater and shit.
Right.
That
was a really good show. Did you watch that Dahmer Netflix show?
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
With,
it was really good. Evan Peters.
I was going to say, I don't know his name. I was going to call him Mr. Creepy from American Horror Story.
Right.
Yeah. Oh, God, he's
fucking... right. So one of my favorite things when we finally get into fall, which lately in the past handful of years only lasts fucking 2 weeks and we're out of it anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But just the vibes overall outside when the weather finally cools down from the oppressive fucking summer heat, which I hate. I don't want to be in extremes, I've found as I get older. I don't want the heat of summer. I don't want the bitter fucking cold of winter. I just want to be in a temperate climate, and I much prefer fall to spring because spring's too fucking soggy.
It's just weird, man, with where we are. You wouldn't think that being so north in Ohio like we are, we're essentially on the Michigan line.
Yeah.
But we get extremes. We get 100, 110 degree fucking summers.
Yep.
We get -10 fucking winters.
Yep.
Tell me anywhere else that happens in the fucking country. I feel like it don't. Yeah. It's strange.
I don't know.
We're climates are changing, and that's been a thing for years, but it's still strange to get, how in the fuck do we get Florida heat and get Canada fucking winter?
Right.
It's insane. But it's something that we're accustomed to all this because, you know what? We don't get tornadoes. We don't get fucking hurricanes.
Not much anyway, not with the tornadoes. It's is a little more common around here, but that's really the only thing that we do get. Every once in a while.
It's a very weird part of the country, man.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it here. Everybody that's here as talking about leaving, but in general, that's probably the best that we have about where we are.
Right. But when we do get that couple of weeks these days of just perfect fucking fall weather, it cools down to like high 60s, low 70s.
Oh, yeah.
We usually have a nice breeze going on, but the sun's shining at the same time, and it's just the nicest fucking thing. Oh,
we're there right now. It's pretty much perfect outside.
Got the leaves changing and all that shit's going on. I haven't made it yet to any apple orchards or corn mazes or anything like that, but my daughter and I have a tradition to go to a couple of places around here every year. We go to Stevens Gardens in Monclova, and we also go to the Field of Fear for our haunted house, and then we get apple cider and donuts from Johnston's in Swanton. So,
oh shit, yeah.
Yeah, man. I just love it so much. Like I said, I feel most alive when things around me start to die. And we do have the fall foliage, leaves, all the colors coming out now. And it's fantastic. Oh my goodness. So fall foliage and crisp weather aside, we did mention costumes for a minute. So have you had like either a favorite costume that you've worn up to this point, or one that you've always wanted to do and haven't been able to up to this point?
I remember a couple that stood out. I definitely was a Red Power Ranger a few years.
Oh, for sure.
And I think we were just reusing shit. I was a Red Power Ranger a few years.
As an adult, that's definitely the douchiest Power Ranger.
Oh, well, no, he was the main guy, and that's the thing. Hey, here's the thing, too. The green and the white one weren't out yet.
Which were the same guy.
They weren't out yet.
Right.
I'm talking brand new fucking Power Rangers,
Mm-hmm.
all that. It was huge. But other than that, I just kind of remember being a ninja bunch, man.
Yeah, I
bunch
think I
of
did
ninja
the ninja
shit.
thing once.
Plastic knives, plastic fucking throwing stars,
Right.
whatever. Most of the time.
I remember having a bunch of those shitty, like, plastic. Do you remember back in the day? They had the shittiest plastic costumes. It was like you were basically wearing a colored garbage bag. And then you had a shitty plastic mask with a little fucking, elastic string tied around your head. And it was the worst thing ever.
That's what the Power Ranger thing was, is you had this cool-ass costume that you'd put on that was like a jumper.
Oh, okay.
And it had
like a spandex?
Like Velcro on the back.
Yep.
But then the mask, you didn't have a helmet. You had this cheap-ass, this costume was probably $15,
right.
dude,
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was all cheap shit, and I know a lot of people talk about, oh, my parents made me this.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, man, you got lucky, I said I reused a $10, $15 costume for 5 years in a row, and it was fun, man. It was crazy.
I don't think it was necessarily until, I've always had decent costumes. I remember getting one that was, just a skull mask that I spirit gummed to my face so it moved when I talked.
Oh, that was cool.
I remember that was one of the first times I really got excited about the costume that I had. But, yeah, I did the Power Ranger thing once. I did a vampire one year. I did the ninja thing once or twice. But it wasn't until I got a little bit older, I'm saying mid-teens, I guess, where I started developing a taste for having a quality fucking costume.
Right.
So I remember doing a werewolf one time and I had the fucking hair all glued to me and shit. I did, like I said, I started putting actual pumpkins on my head as masks periodically. And that kind of became like a go-to thing for me. And then, yeah, actually buying studio quality shit to wear out. The money is a separate thing for that for me. It's still something that you have to, don't have to, but I don't mind spending a little bit of money on it so that I feel confident in the costume that I have, because I feel like it's always, I should be in the running for the costume contest.
Oh,
at the
hell
end
yeah.
of the night, even when I just did a fucking lumberjack and I had a fucking flannel shirt and some boots and suspenders and shit.
Right.
You go for the look, you go all out.
Absolutely.
But speaking of costumes, let's go a little bit into trick-or-treating. Did you have a go-to spot you went to growing up?
I moved around a lot when I was a kid. I feel like I didn't really live in one spot, so we would move, and it was always a different experience. Maybe I would trick or treat for the same spot in a couple years, but after a year or two, we'd move again. And the one thing that stands out to me is, holy shit, hold on to your Halloween bags. You ever had anybody snatch your fucking bag of candy?
No, I would have whooped somebody's ass.
Oh, yeah. Well, you don't know when it fucking happens, dude.
Oh, man.
Only one time, though, we moved out into this very, 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 very small town, and I went trick-or-treating by myself with a friend of mine, and I don't know if I was 12.
Was it by yourself, or was it with a friend of yours?
Well, not with my
you
parents.
guys went out without
We
parents.
went out without our parents for the first time.
Okay.
Yeah, and we were gone for a few hours, and my pillowcase was full, and I sat it down for a minute in front of me, boom, gone.
What the fuck, dude? I've never had that happen one time.
Only once. Only one time.
Dude.
And you wouldn't think it would be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
We were out in the middle of nowhere. This was not inner city trick-or-treating. This was, one
Really?
time, though. But now I'm pretty, I was, hypersensitive after that. Never sat my bag of candy down.
Right.
Touch my
You're just
shit, man.
Dragging it around like Sam in Trick or Treat, so it's all
Dude, it's
dirty and
crazy.
fucking... Yeah, I've never had that happen. I don't know how I would react. Probably not positively.
Oh, no, it was
That's for
terrible.
sure.
It was, you just spent a couple hours and trick-or-treating's over, and
Yeah, man.
now your candy's fucking gone.
I feel like I got pretty lucky in the area that I grew up in, as far as having a good trick or treating neighborhood, because I feel like probably 50% of the houses participated in, having their lights on, having decorations up, handing out candy, And I remember setting a haunted house up and doing it in the reverse a couple of times at my grandma's house, which was, 6 blocks away from us, whatever.
Right.
But I feel like a good amount of the houses in that neighborhood set up a really nice, legit sort of home haunt, as much as a residential area of Toledo can be.
Right.
Because that's where I grew up in West Toledo. But I appreciated a lot the amount of places that you would come across as a kid in your costume, fucking toting around your bag of candy, and then you come up to this place and you're like,
I don't know if I want to go up and ring the doorbell. Right?
It's either that or you're just mesmerized by the Halloween beauty you see on display in front of you. It's this huge elaborate display, and they've got all kinds of stuff. They got a little cemetery area set up, and they've got there's a guy hanging from a tree, and there's another one standing there with a chainsaw, and there's
Right.
I really appreciate when people put care and detail into their home setup.
Right.
Which I think in turn was a big reason why I started going all out and decorating inside, outside. I really like to go all out. Haven't done a whole lot this year, unfortunately, but that's your fault, podcast, for
So, I mean,
taking up all my time editing.
We're finally at the point where we could probably do something too. We got that big barn,
Right. So yeah, I like to go all out decorating. I put up a big display outside, which I live in the country now, so maybe in the grand scheme of things, not a whole lot of people see it as far as
Right.
traffic are concerned. But I like to put up as much of an attraction as I can with the things I have to work with. But I like to bring it inside too. One of my favorite decorations that I do is on the fridge. I do so I've got a bunch of fridge magnets, and a lot of them from when Hannah was a kid that were just the letters that you make words out of on the fridge or whatever. So you grab a bunch of those and you put a catch 'em and kill 'em or
Right.
die, boo, 666. We've had red rum, different things like that put on the fridge, and I find that that's my favorite thing to do is when I can find subtle ways to decorate,
Right.
putting bones in the fireplace.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just something simple like that, where it's, if people aren't looking for it, it looks normal. But as soon as their, field of vision crosses that, they're like, oh, fuck,
Right.
check that shit out. But no, I usually do it pretty big. Where are you at on decorating for Halloween?
We've started to buy inflatables and, lights and stuff. But as far as actually going all out, we just never really had the room,
Gotcha. Well, that's about to change now. You got that big old farmhouse
Oh,
you
yeah.
moved into.
A little bit at a time, but, at some point we're going to get that 10-foot skeleton and lean it on the side of the barn.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But,
But yeah, you mentioned having a party. Your place would be a great place to do so. I would love to fucking, make sure if you plan on doing that, you include me, bring me in on the loop
yeah.
of the decorating and planning for said party. I've always wanted to have a party where I schedule an event that happens at the party. All of a sudden the fucking power cuts out.
oh,
You know what I
okay.
mean? Somebody runs out of the fucking cornfield with a chainsaw, whatever.
Right.
Just get people, some sort of stunt to get everyone oh fuck, best Halloween party ever.
Shit, yeah.
Have you experienced many Halloween parties over the years?
I've had a few, but nothing that was a annual.
Mm-hmm.
Shit was pretty wild when I was younger, man. We were just all drinking a lot.
Right.
Nothing too crazy. Maybe a couple people dressing up. I remember a couple chicks dressed up as cats,
Right.
but as far as anything to actually know, oh, this is a phenomenal party, probably not so much.
I've been to a few over the years. My band played a couple. That was one of the times I wore a pumpkin on my head while actually playing music.
Nice.
Was at one of those Halloween parties. parties. I had another gig at like Table 44 or something that I did that for. But yeah, man, talking about decorations a minute ago reminded me that I actually have a decoration featured in a few movies.
Really?
It's fucking crazy. It's
Oh,
like
that
this
is true.
little like pumpkin scarecrow dude that you can like pose in different ways. I saw it in the background of Hubie Halloween,
Oh, shit.
Ernest Scared Stupid. I think it might be in Hocus Pocus, or there might be something else in the classroom in Hocus Pocus where I'm like, I
Similar.
fucking have one of those somethings.
Right.
So, speaking of movies, are there any movies that you have to watch every single year? It's a Halloween tradition.
For me, not so much, man. I feel like, I'm a little bit out of the ordinary. Like, I watch horror all the time.
Mhm.
That's my thing. It's very rare to catch me in something that's not horror or horror-esque. Not really, man. I got my favorites, Texas Chainsaw,
Right.
a couple things like that. But in general, I just watch those so regularly that
Right.
I do feel different when Halloween rolls around. But as far as changing up when I'm watching, not so much.
Okay.
It's just kind of me.
Fair enough. So every time the season is upon us, obviously Halloween's one you have to put in. Trick or Treat for me is a yearly.
Okay.
I have to make sure I put that in. That is one of the better, in my opinion, another one that I have to put on every year, Hocus Pocus. That's one of the best children's Halloween movies ever made. I think Trick or Treat is one of the best adult Halloween movies ever
I've
made.
never seen Hocus Pocus.
What the fuck did you just say?
I swear.
What do you
It's
mean?
it's not me, dude. There's no where's
I don't give a shit.
Where's
It's
the
Hocus
gore?
Pocus. Oh my god.
Where's the gore, dude?
Not everything is about gore, Jason. What the fuck?
I disagree.
Fair
No,
enough.
I've
I guess,
never
but you've
seen
never
Hocus Pocus.
seen Hocus Pocus. Are you kidding
Obviously, I'm aware. I know what
It's a problem.
it is. No, I've
me? We're not going to
never-
make it to next Halloween if you don't watch
Yeah,
fucking
I've
Hocus
never
Pocus.
watched Hocus Pocus.
That's a problem. It's a fucking problem. Because yeah, yearly, dude. You know what? Take it with you on the way out, and you're gonna you and Ashley are gonna sit down and watch that son of a bitch.
No,
What?
No, thank you.
What are you shaking your fucking head at? Are you kidding me? Oh my god, we're canceled now. We're fucking canceled because you're talking shit about Hocus Pocus. Are you
Hey,
happy?
man. I mean, I guess that I would be okay with Nightmare Before Christmas, but even then, that's not my cup of tea, man.
See, you lost me on that.
That's
one.
not my cup of tea.
That's not my cup of tea either. Okay, I guess we'll fucking move on from that. We talked about trick-or-treating a little bit. What about candy, dude? What's some of your jams as far as Halloween
Dude,
candies
Reese's
concerned?
Cups all day.
Okay, yep.
Reese's Cups and I don't know if anybody remembers bottle caps.
I vaguely remember bottle
Bottle
caps. I never
caps,
really got into them, though.
They kind of look like sweet tarts, but they're soda flavored. So you got like cola, you got a root beer, you got
Okay.
a grape, you got a cherry.
I can dig that.
Dude, it's bomb. That's one thing that I don't think you can just go buy bottle caps from somewhere anymore. They're just
Really?
mixed in with the Halloween candy now, and they're in like a 2 or 3 pack.
Why are they even being made if you can't sell them individually at this
I
point?
don't. Well, like I said, they would come in a pack of like there'd probably be 20 or 30 in a little bag or whatever. But I don't think they're around.
Interesting. Huh. I'm not super familiar with those. Obviously, I couldn't agree more. On the Reese's Cups, that was always my like main number one.
Oh yeah.
I always appreciated a Snickers.
Yeah, they're okay, man. I like Snickers. I like Milky Way.
Right?
Pretty
Twix.
bomb. Yeah. Oh,
Twix
dude,
is always a real
Twix
good
is
one.
where it's at, for
Oh,
sure.
yeah.
Do you
I-
like the left or the right?
You know, I'm gonna have to go left.
So at one point they had a marketing scheme, and they would say that the left was different than the right. And I worked with this chick, Lindsay. Awesome chick, right?
Yeah.
She thought the left and the right tasted different.
And it was all just a ploy to get you to fucking eat more of them and try to
they're all the
discern.
same. Yeah, there's no difference.
I guess I was more of a chocolatey candy guy than a fruity candy guy, but I did always appreciate some Sour Patch Kids,
Oh shit, yeah.
some gummy worms maybe,
Skittles.
Skittles.
Love Skittles.
I do love
I love,
Skittles.
I love Starburst too.
I'm not as big a fan of the Starburst. I don't like the stuff that sticks to your teeth and shit. So
Oh,
all
it's
of
the
the
good
toffee-like stuff. All
You
of
didn't like
the,
you didn't like Gushers and like Fruit by
Gushers.
the Foot.
Gushers and Fruit by the Foot were fine. I guess it was a little different.
Sticks into your teeth bad.
It does. It definitely does.
That was the leading cause for cavities in the 90s.
Right.
Gushers.
But yeah, man, I really loved always getting to the end of the night after you get done trick-or-treating and you're fucking exhausted and you're cold and you're tired. And you get to the table or the fucking patch of floor that you decide to post up on and you dump all your fucking candy out and you go through it. And that was a ritual in and of itself.
And your parents go through it and they say they're taking this because, this doesn't look good, but they're just putting it in their pocket.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you don't know what they're doing with that. I fucking see you, Mom.
Be touching my fucking candy.
Yeah, you go through it and you tell yourself you're searching to make sure that there's no razor blades or poison.
Yeah.
Like there was always supposed to be. Everyone always talks.
There's always
going to
be drug edibles.
Oh, yeah.
Hate to tell you, in 2024, we're not throwing edibles in your kids' candy.
No. They're too expensive.
Right.
No, I totally agree, man. So beyond candy, what are some other like Halloween / fall-time treats that you can think of? For me, something that comes to mind are apple cider, like cider mill donuts.
I didn't have a lot of experience at pumpkin patches and stuff, which I know a lot of people do.
For sure. We have a few around here that, like I said, we kind of have go to. When I was growing up, it was Erie Orchard I would always go to.
Okay.
And they had the best fucking donuts and cider. Oh my God, it was great. Nowadays, we go to a more local place to here, Johnston's, for our donuts and cider, but we always go to this place nearby called Stevens. They have a cool little corn maze you go through. They got a hayride. They got all that kind of shit.
Oh, yeah.
Animals you can pet. Tons of pumpkins. But when we do get pumpkins, we go to Sadowski's on Airport there. That's kind of a tradition, which they also have a corn maze we always go through. It's pretty cool. But yeah, I love it just seeing all that kind of stuff pop up around Halloween time. And one of my favorite things that I love to see pop up are haunted houses.
Oh, yeah.
So we mentioned the Hydro a little while ago. Are there any other go-to haunted houses in the area for you?
Nothing that was like every year. I remember a bunch of like random, people set up something at their house.
Mm-hmm.
But other than a haunted Hydro, I don't really remember anything that was too steady, I don't think.
Okay. So in the area, Haunted Hydro was one that I went to growing up. There was also the Lucas County Rec Center. Always had a good one that they set up. They eventually ended up calling that Terror Town.
Okay, I've been there.
That was a pretty good one. Nearby in Napoleon, I believe, is Scream Acres, which is a good one. They had one of the best effects I've ever seen in a haunted house, which one of the houses that we entered into immediately upon entering, there was a fucking clown running at you down the wall, and he was like attached to something that he was like hanging from. So he was running down the wall at you. That was super cool. They have an enormous, super elaborate corn maze every year where they take like an aerial photo of it and everything because it's so, whatever the theme is that year, they always go all out and it's like multiple acres, huge corn maze to go through.
Do you remember the haunted house that used to be in the mall parking lot?
I do remember the haunted house that used to be in the mall parking lot. Are you talking about either Northtown or Franklin Park Mall?
I think I'm thinking of Northtown.
Okay, so are you talking about the dark side?
I think so. I had a really good friend, close friend. My buddy ended up marrying her, but her sister ran that.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we used to call her Autumn Gore.
Interesting.
She had a big tattoo on her chest that said Gore. It looked like blood and stuff. But she used to run that haunt, and I had a bunch of friends that did that too.
Maybe we're talking about a different one because I do remember the dark side, and as I remembered it, a guy named Myron St. John ran that.
Okay.
And he also ended up running another place on Alexis in Toledo called the $1 Million Haunted House, which me and my dad and my brother worked at. And
okay.
through that, we ended up like meeting Elvira. That was pretty cool.
Oh, shit.
And we had this really cool room at the back of it. Was like an old abandoned Kroger, so there was like a big freezer in the back of it, just totally cement all the way through, and that was our room. And this was back in the days where haunted houses had tour guides.
Oh, yeah.
And
see,
so
that's what I remember.
Yeah, the guide would come, and we wrote out a story for him to tell where, my dad's idea was this monk went crazy in the monastery, murdered all the rest of them, something fucking blah, 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 what the fuck ever happened. And as soon as the tour guide would get to a certain point in the story, I would kick over this giant fucking like post-hole fucking pounder thing, and it was like this big metal thing I would kick over in this completely cement room, and it just sounded like a fucking bomb went off.
Right.
And as soon as it hit, I would hit this power strip where a strobe light would start going, and then my dad and my brother in the front, would come out with fucking holding staffs and shit and coming out at everybody.
Yeah.
It was a good time. And then the next time after that I saw Myron St. John happened to be at the best haunted house I've ever been to in my life. and that was by far the one at the Mansfield Reformatory.
Oh, okay.
Which is the prison that they filmed Shawshank Redemption at.
Right.
And I remember going to that place. I heard stories about it, like, oh, this is the best in the area, hands down. And we went there, and when I got to the front of the line, I saw a guy standing there, and I looked over, and I'm like, Myron? And he looks over at me, and he fucking said my name back to me. No way he remembered the name of a random dude's kid that worked at a fucking haunted house of his 10 years ago, 15 years ago, what the fuck ever. But he said he remembered me, and he mentioned my dad's name, and I was like, no fucking shit, man. How you been?
Damn.
And he was like, yeah, I'm running the place. And I was like, get the fuck out of here, dude. Like, a big-ass prison. Like, this place is cool as shit. It was like 20 minutes to get through one half of it, and then there was like a little staging area to filter you into the next. And then that part was like another half hour to get through.
Right.
It was so fucking cool, dude. What was the best haunted house that you can remember going to?
Said it's been so long, man. I really probably Haunted Hydro, but I was probably
Haunted Hydro is always a good one.
So it's probably 15. It's been so damn long. Life gets busy between being in a band and touring. I mean, I wasn't home for Christmas for a lot of years on top of Halloween, but that's one thing that we need to get back into. I want to see all this shit. I want to see what people are doing, because just having a friend in the industry,
Yeah, dude. Nearby, we've got Field of Fear we could go check out for sure. I've been wanting to see what that's about this year. I went last year. It was really good. So yeah, man. You think you've got anything else to add to this? I mean, my notes down at the bottom. So I gave this holiday 666 out of 5 virgin sacrifices for my rating. I figured that was appropriate, right? With like the Celtic origins of the holiday, right?
Yeah, I think so.
And my recommendation for this not movie is fucking be about it, dude. Halloween rules.
It's all about
Embrace
fun,
it.
man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Eat some fucking candy.
Dress up in something. Come embody a different spirit for the night. Get out of yourself for a minute. Just embrace the fun and carefree atmosphere that Halloween has to offer you,
Sure.
So I think with that thought, that'll about wrap us up for this episode. I appreciate you hanging out with us, everybody. We had fun. We hope you did too. And don't forget, in 2 days on Halloween, we'll be releasing Hellraiser II, the official review from the Cinebytes, and we do have a special guest back for that episode. So hold on to your butts and and that one will be out. That one will be out to you in just a couple of days. In the meantime, if you want to get a hold of us, you can do so at cinebytespod@gmail.com. Send us a suggestion for a future episode. Comment on your favorite things about Halloween. You can follow us on all of our socials on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Twitter. We got YouTube. Go check out the stuff. If you feel so inclined to support the show, you can do so by visiting cinebytespod.buzzsprout.com. And as always, everyone, dreams are fleeting. Only nightmares are forever. Follow your nightmares, and happy Halloween.
Boy.
Kill her, Mommy. Kill her.
I bid you welcome.